Schreiner. I'm having some tech problems here, so if it's not one thing, it's another. I just got a brand new computer here, and so I know it's not my computer, but Blog Talk Radio has just completely frozen on me, so I can't do much of anything with me while I'm trying to use a different browser. I have a feeling this is going to be one of those months where they just don't want me speaking, so it's going to be one of those months, but I'm not going to, I could just upload videos. If I can't get on the air with Blog Talk, I can upload videos. You guys know I don't shut up. And so, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is here. But Blog Talk Radio screen is stuck, and I don't even know if you can hear me. How's that one? Give me a shout out in the chat room if you can hear me. I don't even know at this point if I'm in limbo. Even my line here with the headphones sounds dead. Hey, it's Friday. Okay, they can hear me. Alright, that's good. What I was going to talk about today is I've been looking at like 10 different things in the last 2 days. Because when something doesn't make sense, that's usually because there's a lot of stuff going on at once. I don't even know how to boil this down because I'm trying to gauge the situation with Trump. Okay, so let me explain the White House to you because it's not what people expect. When you get elected as president, it's almost like you get a lease on the White House. You get to go in there and live there for your 4-year term. But there are employees of the White House that you can't touch. You don't hire them. You don't fire them. They come with the house. When we moved here several years ago, we got a cat came with the house. And, we just kind of adopted it and fed it. And that's pretty much what the White House is. They adopt you. You're coming into their domain, their house. And they're going to adopt you for 4 years. You don't have free run of the place, free reign of your own office. There's what they call protocol is actually rules that govern everything about the White House. And then if you remember back in the Obama years, I was talking about the Secret Service, and I told you that, they're not their friends. There's two different aspects to the Secret Service. There's the human aspect for the world to see. But then there is the higher hidden aspect, what you could call the terrestrial aspect, because I'll call them terrestrials, I guess. I don't know. What else do you call them? Satan's people, Satan's henchmen, fallen angels. They're very much part of the order of things with the Secret Service because they are the ones who keep the president in line. They're the enforcers. We have a view of Secret Service that they're the protectors, but they're actually the enforcers. And they are the hidden ones behind the scenes. They represent the hidden ones behind the scenes in D.C. that control the Beltway. And so, I learned back then that even when you're in your own private quarters, you don't really have privacy. They're everywhere. And they watch everything you do, everything you say, everything you write, everything you do. They're spying. And so they have no real privacy in the White House. And even when they go anywhere else, when you're dealing with dimensional beings, they can be standing behind you and you don't even know it. You don't see them. You can smell them because The one thing about dimensional beings is they all stink. They have this odor. And when you get in tune to that, and you get in tune to feeling energies and auras around you, then you'll notice changes around you. And so this is what Trump's had to deal with since moving to Washington. The enforcers that make him go along with their script. You know, just because the nation voted him in and he ran on a platform and he wants to do all this stuff for the people because that's what they agreed to, that's why they voted him in. When you go to Washington, the president is not very high on the ranking ladder there. You know, everybody likes to point the fingers at Obama for all the things he did. Obama was a clone. So let's look at the people behind Obama, around him, that did the things that everybody wants to blame Obama for. Because Obama itself was just a clone. Barry Soetoro was the human aspect. But Barry never had control over this Obama thing. I don't know how to explain it any clearer. And, you know, I've been holding my tongue, if you've noticed. I don't think any of you have. But I haven't really been that critical of a Trump. Not like I was Obama. Because I know the war that's been going on. And the same thing with Obama, but he benefited off of it. He stuffed trillions in offshore bank accounts. I like how these presidents come into office and one of the first things they do is start traveling to all these, like, islands or, like, China or Great Britain. They're opening bank accounts. Now, I'm sure Donald Trump has bank accounts everywhere, but it still makes me laugh when you see them go off to all these weird places. Because, you know, you have to be there to sign your name. You can't open up an international bank account online. You have to go sign papers. That's how you always see these celebrities out in Dubai. I remember seeing Rihanna out there on the beach in a bikini, and I'm thinking, I'm surprised someone doesn't chop her head off. That's Arab country out there. They're about as Neanderthal as it gets. I would be scared to death to be an American and go to Dubai, go to any Arab country. No offense to the good Arabs, but probably wouldn't make it out alive. They'd find something they don't like and chop your head off. But that's typically what they're doing. They're over there opening up bank accounts. Or like in the case of celebrities and like Rihanna, she's probably being pimped out to some rich Saudi sheik. Because they love American celebrities. And so Hollywood pimps them out to the Saudi sheiks. And of course the celebrities have no say in the matter. They just go where they're told to go. I'm not going to get on that rabbit trail. So anyway, because I'm trying to figure out, and you guys can think along with me, who's in control of the country right now, because we got some stuff coming up, and, you know, this whole barricade story is hogwash. Oh, sure, somebody might have rammed a barricade. Why would Trump be and I could be wrong on the state, but I'm going to say Missouri, because I saw a blurb of it and laughed and didn't pay attention because I knew it wasn't true, in a barricade in Missouri. That's not the real Trump. That's just a distraction clone. And so there's some intense fighting going on at the White House. And so I don't think Trump is even leaving the White House at this point. His clone will. They'll send the clone out. But it just makes no sense for this huge hurricane going on in Texas and Trump being in Missouri handling something else. We all know Donald Trump is a businessman, and he would be at the helm taking care of this mess in Houston. And he is not at the helm, and so you know something's up. Because Donald handles business. And this would be a time for him to shine as leader of the country and put everybody at ease. and be a leader and a voice for the things that are going on. Instead, they have him stuffed in a shoebox in the White House. And they have a clone out gallivanting around the country. So there's a power struggle going on. And I know he's been fighting to hang on. He's been fighting the deep state, and that's what you can call these hidden controllers, the same ones that act like they're Secret Service and protecting the White House, and the hidden ones, the controllers in the background. That's all part of the deep state. And I don't think at this point, it doesn't look like he's winning that war. I know we were all pushing for him and we were cheering him on, and I was laying off of him. And now every time they want to deal with deep state, so Hollywood, they're just scumbags. So anyway, they want us to think that Russia's naval intelligence wants us to think that Russia's weather weapon is what's in behind Harvey. I don't know what the Russian name for Harvey is. I've never even heard Harvey. You think they would come up with something a little like Katrina? That was Russian. They like hitting the Gulf Coast for some reason because of all the most interesting aspect of America, I guess, is the Gulf Coast region. So now they want us to think it's the Russians that caused the hurricane, which very well could have been. But springing into action right away is Department of Homeland Security, who's always had a Russian leader. Don't you remember when they created the DHS? I remember that. And the guy that was running it was a Russian. And you're thinking, nothing good's going to come out of this. And then all of a sudden, our police departments go ballistic and start killing people, kill first, ask questions later, because they start hiring former military vets. Used to take a college degree to get a job as a cop, and they were just taking Gulf War vets, putting uniforms on them, with the attitude, shoot first, ask questions later. And this is the police state mentality we've been dealing with since they created the DHS. They changed law enforcement and made it a brutal police state. So DHS has been getting involved with NATO forces and starting to activate the whole FEMA camp scenario in Houston. Yeah, see, Harvey's an English name. It's not even anywhere near Russian. So anyway, they're activating the whole Jade Helm scenario in Houston. And while we're dealing with that, they've got another hurricane brewing in the Atlantic that they're engineering to hit America on September 20th. That week is just lining up with booms. It's like boom, boom, boom. September 20th is a Wednesday. September 21st, and I'm sure someone will catch me if I'm wrong, fall equinox, September 21st, 22nd, because those are huge satanic ritual dates. And, of course, their huge date, the 23rd, which falls on a Saturday this year, when they want to open the portal, the gate in space, to allow the fallen in. I don't know why they have to have a huge. That's the impression I get. I see a portal in the skies and these things coming through it, creatures, and that's on the 23rd. That's their plans. That's what they want to do with CERN. And so this whole week's getting kind of full. We still got the 19th. That's Tuesday. My show's the 18th. They're technically, I don't know. I would say they're trying to start stuff for the 20th. So probably like a huge terror attack. Friday, September 27th is the fall equinox. See, I got my producers in the chat room. They help me out here. because I talk off the top of my head. I don't have any notes in front of me. I just talk as the Lord leads, and I try to figure out what it is He's trying to have me say. Yeah, so the 22nd is the autumn equinox, which means on the 21st at midnight will be their big witch celebrations. Satan, the witches will be all, oh, what kind of moon is it? A bunch of moon worshippers. Yeah, that whole 21st, 22nd, 23rd, they're trying to create energy, is what I'm trying to say. And they do that by destructions and death. Now, what happens when a government doesn't have any money to spend? They start legislating. They start coming up with stupid laws to make themselves look busy. And that's how we have billions of unnecessary stupid laws. And people complain about 632 laws in the Torah. And we have more than that just governing driving from your house to a store 5 miles away. I mean, come on, folks. So when they don't have money, they legislate. When the American Satanists who run this country don't have people to kill in other countries, then they turn it inward and start killing Americans. Do you see how that works? That's why they didn't have a border wall, because with the Mexicans coming over and the illegals, they could kill them off in droves and nobody would know because there was no paperwork to them. It was like an open war. And then you have Syria and the Middle East, and the reason they're killing off Syria is because they don't like the Christians there. Huge Christian populations in Syria. Because they already done killed all the inbreds in the Arab nations. Most of the Muslims are just not even purebred Arabs from the original Arabs. They're inbreds. They're white. They're washed up genetics. But the only country that's probably still true bloodline is the Iranians, because they've never been a part of the other Arabs. They speak their own language, Farsi. They have their own country, their own culture. Iran has always been separate because they had different fathers than the rest of the Arabs in the Middle East. And they weren't even the original ones in the Middle East. It was the Chinese, and the Chinese moved eastward to China. Nebuchadnezzar in the Bible, he was Chinese. Nimrod, he was black. So there's an idea of the Middle East. And Lucifer played Nimrod himself. He liked Nimrod. Because Lucifer was turned black. He was lost his looks. And then he lost everything when he was punished for his crimes of the Garden of Eden, seducing both Lilith and then Eve, creating a seed line on earth with Lilith, which was the Chinese, and then with Eve, which was the nation of India. And that's why you have the two oldest nations in the world are India and China, because they were Lucifer's seed lines. Anyway, a lot of stuff coming up. People want to talk about the pole flip and stuff. I have not been told anything about from the Father about the pole flip, because the sun has moved back west. If you noticed, it was northwest, and we were all getting excited because it's just a couple degrees over and it was going to flip. And all of a sudden, it reversed and went back west. It's like, what the heck is it doing in the west? If you look at it at night, it's setting in the west. So unless it starts moving again back in the northwest, which it could because it moved to the west overnight from the northwest, it's just crazy. It does what it doesn't want to, but I'm still watching it. Still watching it. The Lord just does not have me dealing with that right now. It's like some things are hot and some things get cold, and that thing has gotten cold. I'm not watching it right now. What I am watching is this third week of September, because there could be some huge terror events, terror attacks coming up, especially on the 20th. Perhaps they'll slam that hurricane into Florida or New York City, which is always their target, somewhere on the East Coast, I guess you could say. And so I'm watching for that. Watch the NATO troops come in. People are confusing NATO with UN. It's actually NATO troops who aren't even human. I've warned you about the NATO troops not being human. So, they'll have a front. They'll have human military at the front that you'll see, but you won't see the real ones in the background, because they're not human. Anyway, folks, I still can't even get anywhere near Blog Talk right now. Issues the whole time. I'll be back on Monday night, and hopefully I'll have more information for the rest of September for you. And I'll be talking about signs on Monday night. I was going to do that last Monday, and that show didn't happen. And these shows this week about didn't happen, but we'll see what happens the coming Monday. Anyway, folks, until Monday, God bless.